NCF 2023 is aligned with NEP, and what sort of preparedness is required among the teachers? What are the very important things that we should look forward to for the holistic development of the child? I'm going to proceed on that. Children now are smart. They would like to know what is the purpose of what we are teaching. This is where the teacher role is very important, that the purpose of anything that you are imparting among the youth, you have to first relate it to the real life scenario. NCF is emphasizing on more project-based learning, holistic progress of the child in terms of group activity. Thank you so much giving me the opportunity to share my viewpoints regarding what is required as per the teacher's preparedness for the coming session. Because till now, NEP 2020, everyone, the educationists are aware of. NCF, if I say the first draft, that was 2022, the foundational stage, it was released. And then we came up with the NCF 2023. Now, how NCF 2023 is aligned with NEP, and what sort of preparedness is required among the teachers, the background, the backbone of any educational industry. Let's see. I'm just giving it in a brief idea, because if you look into the NCF 23, every day if you open, you get something new to know about it. It's a big, massive thing for each one of us. But there are certain major changes in the teaching pedagogy that is required, and what are the very important things that we should look forward to for the holistic development of the child. I'm going to proceed on that. So I'm sharing my screen. So first of all, I would like to go ahead with, when I say NCF 2023 is aligned with NEP 2020 goals. Now, what are the NEP 2020 goals along which this alignment is done? So since we all are aware of, if I take it, the basic pillars or the main pillars of NEP 2020 suggest that there should be an accessibility of education, quality education for all, irrespective of any background. This is very important. Sometimes what happens when we look into the education system, A1 cities, B cities, C cities, it's differ. How the education is in towns, in villages, in cities, it differs so much that accessibility to everyone is very important. Interlinked with accessibility, equity, that means focus on marginalized and disadvantaged groups, the deprived groups, that is also to be taken care of. And definitely quality of education. Of quality of education, NEP is nothing new for us. This has been even during the pre-independence stage, how things developed through the post-independence stage. If you look into the national education policies when it was earlier being framed out, vision of Mahatma Gandhi, vision of Ravindranath Tagore, everything has taken a certain, I would say, a stand in our education system. But why a reform was required? Why a drastic change was required? And how NCF is built up on these pillars we have to look into. The fourth pillar is the affordability. Definitely, we have to look into the part that lowering the financial barrier due to even the deprived, when we say financial barrier need to be looked into over here. And definitely one of the most important pillar is accountability. That means whatever is being delivered by the teacher, let's understand it in terms of educationists, because this is a bigger parameter when we look into the national education policy. But when it comes to the teachers of schools, if we look into this aspect, it is very important that what we are imparting to the students, it is clear and the outcomes are measurable. So keeping this in mind, how we are now proceeding to NCF 2023. So first of all, what is NCF 2023? Basically, when we talk in terms of NCF 2023, definitely it gives a roadmap towards the modernizing our Indian education system. If I say in terms of modernizing Indian education system, then definitely all the teachers will agree with me. What is the requirement of the time? It is to build up 21st century skill. In simple word, if I go, it is more about the skill development, more about vocational education, more about the fact that how our coming generation, children who are at the age of 13, 14, moving ahead with their means profession in future, how competent they will be and how well they will be. Because yeah, everyone will agree with me that if I speak in terms of our generation or those who are already in working generation, uh, we are not struggling that much, because now children are very intelligent, well educated. But when you see the prospect of getting jobs, there they are struggling a lot. And with AI, when we say artificial intelligence is on the way, then resources dependent on human resources have reduced to lot. But the thing is, it's not that AI is replacing human being. It's about human being becoming more efficient and know how to use AI. So those 21st century skill is very important. Now coming to the core philosophy of the NCF, it says that we have to shift. This is known to everyone, that we have to shift from a very content heavy learning, rote learning, to a more conceptual understanding. We have to understand it. We have to develop or integrate life skills and even enhance our competencies. Now, overall, there need to be a proper holistic development. So, this is what we are proceeding with. Now, keeping in view what is NEP and what is NCF, now how the teachers need to prepare themselves or move ahead with. So what you are seeing on the screen are the four key aspects that we have to look into while teaching. Now, teaching has to be in such a way that what to teach, how to teach, and whether the learning has been proper among the students or not. So, keeping in mind these three aspects, here we have integrated it in terms of, first of all, competency based education. That means education which will emphasize more on real life, practical approach, application based. Just giving you an example, me being a teacher of physics and mathematics, getting into the class, starting with the topic, I have felt that many children are reluctant to go with maths and physics. They have a phobia of the subject, because basically we need to clear it to them, not only science subject, STEM subject, or other subject also. Children now are smart. They would like to know what is the purpose of what we are teaching. Any topic you take, if I just go into the class and say today we will start with trigonometry, half of the class will not be interested, because for them, where am I going to use trigonometry in my life? So this is the thing that come. But what if this is where the teacher role is very important, that the purpose of anything that you are imparting among the youth, you have to first relate it to the real life scenario. Then only you will get the confidence of the students to go ahead with the topic. Next very important thing is the pedagogical flexibility. Now this is very important as per NCF, and teachers of foundational and preparatory stage, they really need to look into the part where the pedagogical flexibility is very important. That means you have to look into the diverse learning styles. You have to see that what method need to be used for a particular child, what other procedure need to be used for another child. So diverse learning style need to be catered. Definitely, as we were discussing, life skills is very important. For life skill, teamwork, group activity. So more and more, NCF is emphasizing on more project-based learning, holistic progress of the child in terms of group activity. Let them form a group, let them lead the group. A leader is being formed within the group, how they manage work. So, this type of decision making, critical thinking, everything is required to go ahead with group activities. Next comes integrated learning, that is breaking the barriers. We have to, if you look at the new, many of you may have already gone through the NCRT new books of grade 3, grade 6. You will find that there is no specifically a demarcation, okay, this is maths, this is science, this is social science. Even within social science, history is interlinked with geography. Economics is now a part of grade 6, which earlier it was in 6th, 9th and 10th. So that barrier need to be broken. Now, coming to the next very important thing is, we all know what are the different stages of NCF. So we have the 4 stages. We go it like this: 5. It is given in NEP also: 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So the first come the foundational stage, where children move from the preschools to grade 2. Then we have the preparatory stage, 3 to 5, middle stage, and secondary. But we have to understand that every stage, certain things are very much emphasized on. Like if I talk in terms of foundational stage, the teaching learning process should be more play based. It should be their experience, what they see around themselves, observing in terms of what? Literacy and numeracy. Many schools have started financial literacy in grade 1 and grade 2, where emphasis in like barter system, or children know that if I give someone something, I will get something in return. What is saving? So this was not being emphasized earlier, because this is making the teaching process more practical. Children get related to it, and even the parents' contribution is very important. It's not only the teachers who are with the student in the class for around that 5 6 hours. It's when they go home also, they carry the information at home and discuss with their parents. So these stages are very clear to everyone, we all know. But coming to the most important part here, I would like to share what you are seeing on the screen is aims, curricular goals, the 4 aspect, that is competency based education, pedagogical flexibility, life skill, and integrated learning. Because I want this, that the teachers who are online, if you want, you can take a screenshot of it, because see, NEP and NCF in itself is a huge thing. But in a nutshell, if you want to have an idea, you can have this as a record for yourself. Next, I am moving to the next slide. This was about the different stages of NCF. And as of now, I would like to discuss this part. I hope it is visible, the aims, curricular goals, competencies, and learning outcomes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm keeping it in this mode only. Otherwise, I think with the slide mode, it's not visible. So over
Yeah,
here,
that's
see, what is important now. Here, the teachers have to understand. This is the most important part, and I would like answers from the panel over here. At what stages these are to be achieved? Because this is something new that NCF has come up with: the curricular goals, competencies, and learning outcome. Anyone who would like to share over here? In chat also you can share. Any idea? Okay, so let me go ahead with it. It says that when it comes in term of this, the broader approach is aims of education is for everyone. But coming to the goals and competencies, it is still in many of the means, I would say, teachers, among the teachers, there is a confusion that every stage, whether I am in class 1, the goals, competencies, and outcomes need to be fulfilled. If I am class 2, all the goals, outcomes, and competencies need to be fulfilled. This is totally not right. Any NCF suggest, now what you're seeing on the screen is, first of all, every stage, whether it is the preparatory, foundational, or secondary or middle stage, major domains differ. And first of all, every domain comes with the curricular goals, competencies, and learning outcomes. But very important thing to note here is curricular goal is the larger aim. This has to be achieved at the end of a stage. That means if I consider the stage where we have 3, 4, 5, grade 3, 4, 5, the curricular goals need to be achieved at the end of grade 5. That means it is a process which starts from grade 3, 4, and ends at 5. Every goal comes with competencies, and that need to be achieved at the end of every stage. That means after fifth. But learning outcomes, please note, learning outcomes need to be achieved on a yearly basis. This is not dependent on stage. It depends on every year. So I'm just sharing this slide. You just have a look. This gives a sample that if I consider the foundational stage, which starts from age 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, then at the foundational stage, at every age, they will achieve the outcomes. But the competencies and curriculum goals will be achieved at the end of age when it is 8 years. Now, I will share some of the goals with you that how we have to look into. Every school should actually now start preparing their lesson plans based on this. So is my screen visible? It shows curricular goal and competencies annexure
Yes,
1.
ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so this is what we have done is for the benefit of the teachers, or the school should actually first of all sort out all the goals and competencies level wise. Like this is foundational stage. The next annexure that you're seeing on the screen is preparatory stage. Then we have middle stage and so on. So if I go to any one of the stage, let's take this foundational stage. Very important. The reason is, what we are looking forward to when it comes to NCF or NEP, children who are already in class 9, 10th, 11th, and 12th, to bring a major change over there will not be possible, because for the past 10 years, they have been already into a particular system, and now bringing a drastic change in their methodology of teaching learning process will differ. Means it will not be very effective, though NCRT, CBSE is suggesting for it. But what becomes very important are the preparedness among the teachers who are going to take classes from nursery, KG, class 1 to 5, because they will be the actual one. The foundation will start from here. The vision of our country, the education system is in the hand of the primary teachers, because what is expected by NCF, NEP is they are going to carry forward with their students ahead. So what you're seeing on the screen is I'm just giving you in a nutshell the idea that how it is. For example, grade when it comes to grade 1 and 2, here there is no specific subject. We have domains. There are 5 domains. The first domain is about the physical development. Physical development in itself has the goals like CG 1, 2, 3. Many of you must be already aware of it. In your lesson plan, you have to now, the curriculum of your class need to be aligned with it. Every curriculum goals come with certain competencies, and every competency, like for example, if I take C1.3, keep school classroom hygienic and organized. So this is the competency I'm choosing for my curriculum, and on the basis of this I have to identify the respective outcomes. Now this is not necessary that if I'm just marking on it, just see, if I look into like curriculum goal 2 and I am in grade 1, I look into this and I opt for these 2 competencies. Fine, it's fine. Means when you are preparing your syllabus, you can identify that for grade 1, I am going with CG1. In CG1, I will only take these 2. It is fine, because at the end of grade 2, that means from the nursery till grade 2, at the end of when the child pass out from grade 2, all the competencies need to be achieved. This is very important. It is not necessary that in class 1 only they have to achieve all the competency. It is at the end of every stage. This remains the same for the other classes. Like now, from if I go to the preparatory stage, that is 3, 4, 5. Here we come across the subject. When we are speaking, I hope I'm switching over from one PDF to another. It is visible. Please confirm.
Ma'am, now the CG3, CG2, CG3, that PDF is
Okay,
visible. Yeah,
and
we
this
have
one
to.
is annexure 2, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, okay, fine. So now this part is for the preparatory stage. So what I want to explain over here is that when it comes to the language or subjects, the subjects that we have, here we start from grade 3 onwards. We have language 1, language 2, that means one can be English and the other one can be the mother tongue. And next we have like mathematics, science, and so on. But when it is for the foundational stage, we have it in terms of domains. That is physical development, socio-emotional ethical development. Then we have language and literacy development. Then we have aesthetic and cultural development. I missed out one which is important, that is cognitive development. That is domain number 3. Here, please note that the books of mathematics and English is available in the market. NCRT book of mathematics and English. Topics that are being the theme of the maths and the English book is based on environmental science. Now, as per NCF, for grade 1 to 5, we will call it as world around us. So that part, they have not given any separate book. We have maths and English, which also take care of the cognitive development of the child. So in this way, we have the different subject competencies and goals. We have it for middle stage also, from here subject wise. Now I will come to another important part. In between, if any questions means if anyone would like to ask any question, I am ready to answer to that. Anything? Shall I proceed ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 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 fine. So now coming to another very important part, is this visible NCRT advisory for schools?
Yes.
Okay, so this has been a circular and advisory provided by NCRT. Now, if the schools are going ahead, those schools which follow the CBSE curriculum, there a certain advisory has come up by the National Curriculum Framework SE 2023. Now, how to implement NCF in school? Here it states, this has recently been shared in August 16, 2024. The reason is they have come up with the two new books, that is grade 6 NCRT book and grade 3 NCRT book. Many of you may have already gone through the book, and I would say this is my personal experience. Now the book is really good. Earlier what used to happen is the CBSE schools, they were dependent on publishers for good content, quality content. Now what has happened is the approach, what I would say, because they have a good panel of educationists who are working on the NCRT books. And if you look through the books, those who have gone through it, I'm telling you, this is a challenge for the teachers, not for the students. The reason is a lot of activity based learning has turned up. That means teaching is more, will be interactive, group work. And just to give you an example, if any maths teacher is over here, in mathematics, they have a topic called patterns. Now, indirectly, with patterns, with visual interpretations, children are made aware of sequence and then series. Now, actually, math sequence and series is something very tough or difficult, and it comes at the later stage in grade 11 and 12. They study about it, or AP and all if we get it in class 9 and 10. But unknowingly, it's not that you go to the class and directly start teaching that today we are going to study about sequence. unknowingly, with the use of visual interpretation, they will get to know about different patterns in mathematics that is there. Another very important thing, if you go through the book, there is no direct questions. Earlier, we used to have exercise 6.1, 6.2, like this. So everything comes like an activity, one after the other. Uh, Critical thinking is required, and we have to look into it. I am getting one question. Good evening, ma'am. I want to ask how we come to know our goal is achieved or not. A very apt question. And I'm taking this over here only with this, what is shared on the screen is goals will be achieved when you first set what you are looking for. First of all, you have to identify, not you only, but as a curriculum of the class, appropriate class means when you start with the session, next session, you have to identify based on the curriculum goals of the stages, and then you have to assess the child. Now, how to assess the child? That is also very important. What are the different assessment procedure that we need to look into? Formative, summative, how it has to be more. I say what I feel is, or what I have understood as per NCF is, when a child is able to implement what has been taught to them as a real or practical outcome, the achievement is better. So there will be, the goals are set. You have to decide what goals. It is already given in the NCF book. What I'm sharing on the screen, you are looking for. This is something we have just designed it. Otherwise, this is already given in NCF. If you go through the NCF handbook available on the site, you will get these goals. So you have to actually align your syllabus as per the goals. Assessment part is in your hand. It can be formative, it can be a summative. I will also share the different techniques that can be used to achieve these goals. Coming back to the NCRT portion, which I was sharing over here, it says that our understanding should be now more conceptually more appropriate. Critical thinking need to be looked into. Creativity, values, and disposition. This is very important. Another thing I would like to add over here is, if you look into the new book, integration of different subjects, and at the same time, that feeling for our own country, being proud of one's own country, to like, I will just give you an example. In class 6 book geography, they are talking about latitudes and longitudes, prime meridian, but in that chapter they have specifically mentioned that before this prime meridian came into existence, or how this has been all there, our history says that how our astrologers, or how our astronomy was, that they have understood this concept with the Madhya Rekha. So, this is now building a sense of belongingness among the students, among our country youth, that, okay, worldwide knowledge, global is important, but local is also important. So we call it more like a local perspective of teaching, understanding. So you will find such type of integration in the new NCRT book. Go through it. Definitely, it's a game changer. It's not, I am not just endorsing NCRT. I am also like one of the teachers, one of the educationists. But yes, I am finding a big change from what it was earlier. Now, according to this, they have already given that grade 1, 2, 3, and 6 book is available. We are expecting that for other grades also, the books will be available before the new session. So gear up. And as per the curriculum goals shared by NCF, you find out how you have to set the syllabus for the coming year. Now, here, another important thing, what they say is equal emphasis on all co-curricular areas. That means if you cannot restrict yourself just to subjects like science, maths, English, you have to integrate with art education, physical education. Now, the timetable management will be very important. The teachers who are in charge of the timetable of the class, this becomes very mandatory. Vocational education will be a separate area that need to be looked into. We should have this as a part of our entire syllabus to go ahead with grade 6. Coming to grade 3, many schools are till now going ahead with separate book of science, separate book for social science, and we at a pan India level, we are observing, means we as a company, since we are into this edtech for a long time now, what we see is there is no balance. Means a grade 3 child, whether the child is from Delhi, whether the child is from London or Dubai or maybe south of India or east of India, the level is there, means that age has a certain capacity. And if I want them, just because a publisher in the book is giving a topic, so that will be a part of it, we have to see how to rationalize this. So it is very important to understand that what age group they belong to. Rote learning we have to shift from. Practical approach need to be more. And the level till which they have to go through. In some schools, I saw adverb is being done in class 2. Are the children really prepared to understand adverb in class 2? In what way? It can be in a different way, but not directly as adverb. There are more things to learn at this age, more to explore, that we have to see. Another thing is teaching with the new textbook following appropriate pedagogy. Now, this is also important, that what are the things you have to make a balance between your formal and informal way of teaching. You have to include a lot of activity. You have to make your session in the class more discussion should be there. Another thing which is very important is many of you may have already started using, that is flip teaching. Are you aware of what is flip teaching? Mostly teachers know this thing, that you share, for example, a certain topic with the students in the class and let them explore. Let them find out. It's not necessary that everything need to be just delivered to them. Let them explore and let them come up with, let them answer. So I will just give you one example. Many schools have this MUN, right? In India, we have MUN, where United Nations, they have the model mock United Nation. And here the children of grade 9 to 12 are given the chance that in a group, and they are very, very crazy about it when they get to be a part of MUN, because they feel that now we are the leaders, we work in the team, and we explore. If such type of activities, not at the extensive level of MUN, but if such type of activities from the very beginning, if the children are given to start with, they will become more independent. That is what NCF is looking for. Why is it that our children who are very good in studies moving ahead to US and all to explore life? The reason is theoretically we are very strong, but the practical need to be fulfilled. It's not that they are not strong. We have to give them that exposure, that with their practically they proceed with, they get the opportunity of hands-on. Once they are into hands-on, it is more beneficial for them. So this is what the advisory says, that let them explore, let them observe the highlighted points you can see on the screen, and let them actively get into the projects and experiments and field trips. So even this question, when it came, that how would we know that the goals are achieved, this also says that please don't limit your assessment only through pen and paper. A lot of activities will help for the holistic development of the child. And because of this reason, NCF is endorsing or emphasizing on HPC report card, that is holistic progress report card. Many schools have already started with that. I'm going to speak on that for 10 minutes because that is very important, because as we are aligned to the new NCRT book, what you are seeing, I have highlighted the points, but keeping this in mind, we have to move to the, that is because teachers need to get prepared for it, the holistic progress card, how it has to be framed, and what are the activities we have to look into for that. But before going that, I would like to emphasize on these 2 points, C and D. If it is grade 3, and consider it as for grade 3, 4, and 5, because they have the book for NCRT grade 3, 4, and 5 will also come. It says that your teaching process should be more activity and discovery based. Discovery based means let the children observe, explore, and then with the reflective observation, they conceptualize their thought process. Whereas when they move to grade 6, the pedagogy need to be judiciously balanced, because here activity is important, exploration is important, but now comes the formal teaching where direct instruction is also important. Now, when we talk about this abstract nature of theories, this is the challenge. Here you will require proper digital interactive tools from your end to use in the class. Basically what happens if I talk in terms of maths, physics, or many thing comes to our consideration abstract. It is not real. There is a visualization required. We feel that the child have understood, but we don't know what sort of visualization the child is having in the mind. So when such abstract theories are being discussed in the class, some visual interpretation is definitely required. You have to see what strategies you will use in the class, what teaching techniques, the tools, the audio visual tools you will use in the class, so that their abstract knowledge becomes more, means they are easy to take from their end. Now, organizing table I have already discussed with you, and attaining the learning standard is also given, which I just spoke about, the competencies, goals, that at what level they have to be achieved, and assessment. How finally you will assess the child after what is done, how is done, it comes the assessment part. Rote memorization to conceptual understanding. Try to include more and more factual based, case based, paragraph based questions in your exam. Even if it is a summative type exam, don't give a direct question, make it a more situational analysis. That is very important. We when we say we are shifting from the rote learning to a competency base, so it's not just about high order thinking skills. Every child cannot solve HOTS, but we have to identify that how with visual interpretation, storytelling, in a paragraph giving a nutshell about a certain situation. CBSE has already started. If you look into the board exam papers, they have started with a case based question. But from the very beginning, if we include more and more to it, by the time they reach 9th and 10th, it becomes flawless for them to solve. So now moving to the next, another very important thing is, this is about holistic progress card. I hope all of you are aware of HPC. Anyone would like to add anything related to HPC over here? Anything that you find very impressive about HPC? I'm looking into the comments also, what is coming up over here. So as I proceed, I will see any such comments related to HPC. So let's get into the HPC part. HPC, Parak is the we have the assessment criteria being set by the agency, that is Parak, for CBSE. And HPC has, yes, someone is writing, parents are involved. Very, very true. Now it's an integrated process where a child need to self-assess, means a child should know that what am I going to do and what am I getting to know about. Child is being a part of a team, so a peer assessment is very important. That means self-assessment, peer assessment, and the third one is parent feedback. Misconception among the educationists is that parent feedback is an assessment. parent feedback is not assessment. The holistic progress card will have parent feedback, but that is a part of it. Assessment, the teacher, the finally the grading of the child, the teacher will do it according to the self assessment of the child, teacher's own assessment, and even the peer assessment, because they are going to do a lot of activity which will be based on this. Now I am sharing over here. If I go through the foundational stage, this is already there in the site. This is the format. This is what Parak has already shared. If you can online find it, many schools are already started detailing it on it. So it's about like, if I go, this is the foundational stage. First part is myself, me and myself, about my surrounding, about myself. A child is going to do this activity themselves. Then part B includes, if you look here, I told you that foundation stage has 5 domains. So every domain, the school will identify, like if this is for grade 1, what are the goals you are looking forward to? On the basis of goals, what competency you will choose for and what activity you will do. While doing the activity, certain assessment questions will be there, and this is the assessment rubric that you have to look forward to. I'm sharing one sample over here. Just have a look. Is my screen visible with HPC activity Leafy Learners Fun with Flora?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is a sample. What you saw was given by Parak, that how you have to go through. I'm sharing one sample with you, that how to use it in the class. First of all, teachers, you can make a note of it. It was expected that this year, at least, that means for the 24-25 session, a school should start with one HPC activity for the foundational and the preparatory stage. But since it is in a very new format, schools also need to understand, teachers need to understand how to work on it. But we had a session with Parak, and they suggested that at least from the coming year, per semester, one activity need to be taken care of in as HPC, which will be a part of the holistic progress card. Now, this is a sample of grade 1, which talks about leafy learners fun with flora. The theme is about the plant kingdom. Now, for every domain, now this is the first domain. The first domain, the curriculum goal is chosen as CG2. You can see I have chosen only one goal, not necessary I have to choose multiple goals. On the basis of goal, I will choose a certain competency, and on the basis of the competency, I will have a activity with my student in the class. This will also be mapped with one of the chapter of that particular class. And then on the basis of that, once the activity is done, this is given by Parak only, that you have to assess the child on the basis of their awareness about the thing, how sensitive they are, and how creative. If you look at this three part, this is nothing but this is related to the Bloom's taxonomy, from level understanding, knowledge, to applying, analyzing, and finally creating. So based on these three criteria, child will be assessed. Now, how they have given these a specific name. Stream is like, yet a lot of improvement is required in the child. Mountain is okay, very good, doing well, but there is again a little bit of scope to be better than this. And sky is the limit, that means outstanding. So based on this rubric, you have to frame your own report card, which will include these activities. I'm repeating, per semester, one activity. Now, one activity doesn't mean this one activity. It means for every domain. That means if physical development, one activity, socio-emotional development, one activity, and so on. We earlier used to have some we had a session with the principals and teachers of different school. One of the query was, is it necessary that we should have multiple activities? That means if there are 5 domain, do I need to have 5 different activity? Answer is no. If you want, the theme is single. If you want, even in with a single activity, you can include multiple domains. So rubrics will differ but the domain, multiple domain can be marked with single activity. So here, if you see, the theme is same. It is about the plant kingdom. But if I talk like, if I want to have this domain, what the child need to develop here? Children develop effective communication skill. Okay, and now with this, what are the competencies? They will listen, appreciate simple songs, rhymes, poems, converse fluently, and can hold a meaningful conversation. So this is well mapped. This, this is where we have to work on. What you are seeing on the screen is one such activity. Now the teachers really need to work that how will you frame such activities, and this is as far all grades. Now, for example, if I go to class 6, class 6 onwards, it is separate, because there till class 5 you will have interdisciplinary linkage of HPC activity, but from class 6 onwards you can see this is an activity of mathematics. So teachers really need to work. This is about algebra dice duel. So an activity, what, how, see, art is integrated, sports is integrated, because this is what NCF is speaking about, that whatever activity you do, you have to integrate sports, physical education, art integration is required. So an activity flow is there. You have to actually frame out your activity, how you need to go ahead with, and then definitely the assessment rubrics remain the same for all grades. Another thing I just want to show you over here, please go through these activities which are given in by Parak, because you have to work on this. What you are seeing on the screen is this cycle. This holistic development cycle is very important, and how the rating is done is also important, because you have to give them numbers, ratings on the basis of, like you can see here, the progress grade, yes, to an extent, no, everything. This is a self-reflection, students' own reflection of the activity. Progress grade, he or she is going to fill it himself over here. Peer feedback, because they are working in a group, so peer feedback and peer grid is provided. And at every level, this scorecard is important, because at the end the teacher is going to give the scoring based on what, where they stand. So it is given for the beginner 0 1 2, proficient 3 4, and advanced level 5 and 6. Now on the basis of that, for every activity the teacher is going to fill the progress card, and for all activities, yes, definitely parents feedback is necessary. So I hold on over here to take the questions and queries. I am seeing here one question. What is the primary focus on holistic progress card? What the primary focus is basically, when we talk in terms of teamwork and practical approach. That means they need to get accustomed with their environment, situations. They should know, if I say, they have to be a problem solver in their life. A problem is there. A problem is never there without a solution. They have to find a solution of what they are into. So that is very important. Then one question is, any specific training program available to align with NCF? Yes, there are. There are lots of, I would suggest at the moment, for the coming 3-4 months, whenever you are getting an opportunity to attend any webinar or anything, please attend, because even if what I am sharing with you, it takes more than 5-6 hours to discuss. So here, few minutes, any other educationist giving any resource. And of course, please go through the sites, the cbsc.nic.in. They have their handbooks over there. Please go through it, read them. Parak has come up with lots of informations. So the more and more information that you collect at the moment, you will be in a position to develop your new syllabus for the coming session. So, and for you, your handbooks are there in cbsc.nic as well as in Parak. Okay, what would be the HPC in middle and senior? See, middle level, it's going a little bit mild, as per, because children are already moving from they have already done till grade 5. They have been to a certain environment, and now shifting to 6, and suddenly some drastic change come, it will be difficult. But still, we see things in that way, that they have already suggested go slow, have one activity and interdisciplinary linkage. You link the subjects. Another thing I would like to add, for middle stage, you can note down, NCF is saying go ahead with interdisciplinary project. Interdisciplinary means where environmental issues need to be looked into, like cosmic pollution, air pollution, noise pollution. These are basic things, but let them here, these are case study. Throw the topic to them and give the independency to them to do it in a group. Don't always train them. They don't need our training. They are very smart. We have to just give them options and let them explore. Okay, ma'am, is it possible to share the
Yeah,
holistic report
yeah.
card? Okay. Holistic report card, every school can prepare their own. The sample is available. You can note down, it is available in cbsc.nic.in.
Can you show how to make lesson plans for according to
Of course.
competency?
See, this will definitely require a session, but still, since this question has come, I would like to address it. CBSE is suggesting for experiential learning lesson plans. Means your plan need to be more experiential learning. So what are the criteria that you need to look into? If any one of you have gone through the COPE cycle, if you are aware of it, it says that the teaching learning process includes, I am also typing this, you can have a look into it. One is, first of all, providing experiences to the student. Let them explore. Okay. So you first provide them the experience. Next is, what we say is, when they experience, they observe and reflect. So this is the next thing. After that, when they observe and reflect, one is either they actively experiment. I'm just writing it, actively experiment, and then finally conceptualize. Now, here I would add that this is not a fixed process. If you go through the CBSE experiential learning lesson plan, it says it can be, first let them have the hands on, let them do it, active experimentation. When they actively experiment, they will reflect and observe. When they observe, they will experience, and then they will conceptualize. So it's like a cyclic process. We call it as a COPE cycle, given by the psychologist, educationist COPE. And if you follow that process, that don't impart at every level. See, earlier in our teaching teacher's diary or in the lesson plan, the method basically we wrote is about lecture method or demonstrative method. In both the case, it's the teacher who is doing. We have to avoid this. Whether am I demonstrating, I don't need to demonstrate. Let them demonstrate. Let them have the hands on. Let them experience. And when it comes to lecture need to be reduced to the minimum level. You have to use the technique, not the method, the technique of question answer, and get it from their side itself, that what will it be. Like, for example, just a simple example, if you want to explain rainbow to the students, that what is the phenomena behind it, ask them or bring it to their understanding, or show them the visual of that. If they see a fountain, uh, or just first question, that when you see a rainbow, is it when is it raining, it is cloudy? They will tell you from their observation that when they see the rainbow appears in a clear sky just after the rain shower. So you don't need to say this directly to them. I'm telling you this like a simple thing over here. You have to use the technique of question answer, using digital tools, visual interpretation, take them to the field trip. The more you ask them to explore and you raise the question, you will get the answer from them. So lesson planning should be more experiential lesson planning. That is the shifting from the conventional to the more a modernized form of planning. How
Thank you,
will
ma'am.
school
Yeah.
administration support teachers in adapting the changes? Definitely, school administration, see, as teachers, when we give the best output, administration will definitely help you out with it, because at the end they want result, and good result comes when we are into it. We as teachers have to work on it.
Ma'am, we have another question from Anil Kumar. What are the holistic play-based goals?
Okay. So when it comes to holistic play-based goals, we are coming to the part that which is specifically depending upon the domain, means the subject. If I look into the maths, what will be the holistic criteria of looking into it? That will be differ from what it is in English language or any other subject. Like if I say play in terms of, it can be conversation, it can be a structured conversation, free conversation. Toy based learning can be a part of play, where you use the dolls, balls, puzzles, blocks. Music and movement can be a playway method of assessment. Storytelling goes very well with the foundation stage. Songs and rhymes, art and craft. If you have to make children understand about solar system, some would like to understand it by drawing, some would like to understand by role play, some would like to understand by visually interpreting, and some will understand by storytelling. So you have to look into the diverse learning of the class and identify the way to do it. Another thing, like if I call in terms of language, when we have to assess the language, it goes as a 4 block approach. First is the oral language development, like picture conversation, sharing experience with their peer, storytelling, even they speak, they will tell us, role plays, drama. Word recognition can be more phonological awareness, letter recognition. Then reading is a very important part, where children should read loudly. They can have a guided reading, they can have a shared reading, independent reading. Then writing is also important, where they can have like modeled writing, means the sample is there, on the basis of that guided reading. Again, this is all the approach that we look into while development of a child's holistic approach.
And we have one more question from Debra Nath. How
Hmm.
teachers can add real life applications of knowledge into lessons?
Here, I'm just giving you again an example. The more and more I example share, you have to find out from your surroundings that how you can relate. For example, if I take maths, I started with trigonometry only. And I remember this is my personal experience, and I have been observing classes. Many teachers go to the class and they suddenly start with, today we are going to study trigonometry. Many children are like, where am I going to use this cos theta, sine theta, and tan theta? Means this is there generally in the mind. If the child is not interested in mathematics, then they do have this in mind. Now, I never start like that. I always start with that, do they know about the Kargil war? What they are aware of, though it has happened long back, but are they aware of it? What exactly happened? What was the challenge? Anyone knows what was the challenge? The challenge was, we are at lower level and they were at upper level, and to target someone which is at a higher level is difficult, because who is at the top level is able to see everyone. So their target was easy, our target was very difficult. The knowledge of trigonometry was used, because when you are firing on them, that inclination is important. So that is how you have to bring the sense of belongingness for the country. At the same time, for them to feel it, for them to experience it, and then start with the teaching. So, real life scenarios you have to look into. You can use, like when you have a trained wheel on the moving on the track, with that come to tangent. Don't start that today we are going to study about tangent. If you want to share an experience of inverted image. There is a temple, Virupaksha temple in Hampi, where at a certain time, when light passes through the window, a small window, an inverted image of the temple top is formed. So you have to identify, you have to depend on different things, you have to make your teaching interesting, you have to relate it what they are seeing around them. So there are many examples. The more we attend such sessions with our fellow mates, we come to know about more such interesting thing, and that's how you can make your subject more simulative and interesting.
Now we have one more question. What professional development opportunities are available to help teachers meet NCF 2023 standards?
See, professional development, definitely, even in the YouTube links, CBSE has also shared lot of informations. If you just type HPC in YouTube, there around 1 hour session on foundational middle stages are available. So you can go through them. They are giving a proper idea. There is one video of around 1 hour. It happened, and many schools, teachers, pan India level have joined them, which they are explaining that if you want to explain children about good, healthy food habits, how to start with. It can be like, first of all, ask every children to bring one fruit from home, and they will draw the picture of it. Then the next day you have a barter system. Everyone will bring five fruits and they will share it. Then they will cut the fruits. So it's like a complete process, and trainings are provided. But yes, your guidebook is your NCF. Go through it every day. I read every day and I find something new in it. I spend my 15-20 minutes to that book. But yes, every time you read, you get something new to know about it.
Ma'am, we have one more question from Rabindranath. Can you tell about the role of parents in implementing this?
Yes. Now, role of parents is something very crucial. When we say parent feedback, also here also, what is happening is we have to look into every aspect. Here the emotional bonding of the teacher with the student is important. This is one of the reason why we chose to be a teacher in school. That emotional bond from our end is important to first of all identify that how much the parent will be able to help the child. Because the children comes from complicated family background, separated parents, issues, health issues, financial issues. And if as teachers we don't understand this, like we cannot give the same parent feedback form to everyone. We have to first of all analyze of those 30 students, is that direct approach right for everyone? Because that sensitivity, that emotional link we have with our student, that personalized touch is very important. And then let the parents get into it, because parents who want their children to be very progressive, very good, are again of two types. One, either they will say to the school, you should make my child the best. They don't want to put their effort because they are busy with their work. That is also there, we all know. But there are another section where parents are ready to mingle with you, ready to cooperate with you. So from student to student, you have to analyze the situation and then take the feedback, or then take the parent into confidence. I am seeing one more question: how to overcome students pressure to implement NEP? Student pressure, students are not having pressure at the moment, because they don't know. The pressure is on us, because we have to develop the curriculum. Actually, we are the one who have to reduce this pressure. When we are saying to move to the real life scenario, practical approach, it means what? It means that we have to reduce the pressure. We have to make learning more engaging and interesting, so they don't get into, today I have to study this. No, they don't have to study double displacement reaction. They will understand double displacement reaction from some examples of their life that they are going through. So it's up to us how we make the learning process easy, so the pressure reduces. And definitely my personal experience says, I am teaching 11th and 12th for a long time now. My own kids are there. They do say now that when they are preparing for some abroad exams or SAT or anything, there comes the real scenario they come up to. And then they say, why our education system is not following this method? So they are ready for it. We have to give them that scope.